Hello, and welcome to the CDO Magazine interview series. I'm Chris Knerr, Chief Digital Officer of Syniti, a world leader in enterprise data software, and we're partnering with CDO Magazine, MIT CDO IQ, and the International Society of Chief Data Officers to bring you this series of interviews with thought leaders in data and analytics. Today, I have the terrific pleasure of speaking with Aravind Jagannathan, who is Chief Data Officer and Vice President of Business Transformation at Freddie Mac Single Family. Welcome, Jag. So nice to have you on the show today.
Really appreciate it, Chris. Thank you.
Absolutely. Maybe, Jag, can I come back to this idea of data as a product? And for the audience, Jag has written a terrific article that I read in a digital magazine called CIO Applications, where it gets a little bit more into the detail. And I encourage everyone to check it out. But maybe, can you, in terms of the operational use cases, are there one or two data as a project initiatives that have been like big successes? And maybe you can share a little bit about them, both on the outcome side and then any specific challenges that you overcame to get those launched.
Yeah, so appreciate it, Chris. So let me start with what do we mean by data as a product, and what was the challenge even moving to that agile mindset? As companies move into what I call the DevOps or agile in terms of speed to market, in terms of delivery, one of the things that we started end of 19 and really finalized last year during our COVID virtual world.
Yes.
was really looking at data as a product. And what that simply means is, if we're looking at from sourcing, and again, I'm going back to sourcing, securitization, servicing, basic constructs, our data teams are linked to those from what you call a traditional execution product teams. So you have really an end-to-end holistic delivery model. And that's also, as I added, in terms of our decision modeling or rules capabilities as well. And why was that important? If data has been viewed as a product, it's no longer an afterthought as you want to look at your business capabilities and execution model. It's embedded in everything that you're trying to prioritize. And when you think about program increments, really linked together. So when you think about the challenges around data, sometimes with governance, it's known or could be viewed as an overhead, or right, or in terms of execution, I didn't really think about it, but guys, I need that to be delivered. What is the best? May not be what you really need to do, but time's of essence. Can you give me a workaround to solve? And then you start hearing words like tech debt, or how am I having to come back to take care of it? When you look at our data as a product, we're moving in sync, right, with the rest of the delivery across single family. And that really has, you've seen the hockey stick in terms of improvements. And a couple of just, case studies, when we're supporting our origination or our servicing side, we looked at reimagined servicing just as an overall large program. Our capabilities that we've delivered this year is going to our end customers. So it's been fantastic on that front. What are some of the challenges that we've seen? The first one was, you got to remove this business technology lens, and we'll touch upon where data really is that bridge. It's really now one team, right? Yep. And having that single team view, folks initially may have been a little hesitant, but really embraced it and are living it. And that you can see the benefits, because again, it's not, let me go from requirements to tech requirements to delivery or execution or build. It's really together. So as you're looking at your release train engineers and I call it chief product owners, it's not that they're wearing a business lens or a technology lens, they're wearing a team lens. And that has been, as you think about efficiencies, right, not only from a budget, but speed to market, or again, business outcomes, you've seen that in spades as we've entered into 2021 and living it as we move forward.
So I have a couple of observations I just want to distill out, but let me ask one question just on the example. So when we think about data as a product in the service of origination and servicing, are the kinds of benefits that you're tracking, something like I've used AI ML to better anticipate customer needs and user experience. I'm taking cycle time out. Like what, if I were the business person?
So if I look at it again, going back, great question. If I look at those objective key results, it can be tied to say one of our features is how am I looking at say on the origination side, shortening our approval cycle. Right?
Perfect.
I'm not getting to in depth, but just AI ML is a enabler within that, could be. So it's not an isolated case, but it's tied to that overall business outcome. You start with the top. And then how is data, and then how are we enabling that business outcome? So that's the key. That's the key part. So as data as a product, it is then supporting the overall execution model. So as I said, it's not that AI ML is just all standalone. It's an enabler to support the overall objective.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And then just my observations to distill out, because again, these are themes that are coming up a lot. I mean, one is that I very much agree that there's sort of this emerging truth that data is connective tissue between quote business and quote IT, and that it's both. It isn't just business or it isn't just IT. And that's been a big flashpoint, in the last 20 years that I've been working in data related initiatives, that it ping pongs back and forth. And now I think that finally we're at the point where no, this is a holistic discipline, and it's actually going to provide a bridge and some connective tissue that's been missing historically.
So Chris, if I could add, so that's why I report to our COO, who has not only operations, delivery, an execution from a technology division standpoint. And reports to the head of the business. So I'm not part of whether it be in the finance arm or technology arm, I'm in the business area. So having that support from management is also critical for success.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's a good point, is that there's a lot of diversity in terms of where CDOs report. Sometimes they report into business. Sometimes it's very commercially oriented. Sometimes it's operationally oriented. Sometimes it reports into IT and finance. And I think that's still
there. For us, for having data as a product, being part of that business lifecycle where I'm dealing with my peers collectively has been successful.
Yeah, absolutely. Super. Well, Jag, thank you so much. I really enjoyed our conversation today. There are, for the audience, there are additional interviews that we have at cdomagazine.tech. And thanks so much again for joining me. I hope you have a terrific rest of your day.
Thank you, everybody.